Are we breeding a generation of mummies boys? Now, according to new data, nearly a third of men in Australia aged between 20 and 35 are living at home with their parents. To discuss this relationship, our psychologist this morning joins us. But before we do that, let's have a look at this movie, a bit from the movie called Failure to Launch. It stars Matthew McConaughey, and this sort of looks like a bit of a modern-day issue. Have a look.
So, you live with your parents?
Mm-hmm. Is that a problem?
No. Not for me.
Yeah, right. Is there anything wrong with this and the sort of impact it has on potential relationships? John Aiken joins me. Good morning, Jono.
Morning, Kerri-Anne.
Just having a look at that. So she's clearly surprised. Is there anything wrong with that?
Well, it just doesn't do a lot for you in terms of being able to have a long-term relationship.
But I mean, I'm looking at these statistics. 27% of men 20 to 34 are living at home. Why?
I know. Well, the person that did that research talked about the fact that men take longer to form relationships, and so they don't leave home as quickly as women. But look, the key issue is that that's a high number, and that you know, if guys are looking to find their right partner, this is going to hold them back.
But if they can get everything done for them at home and they can still have life,
yeah, it's pretty tempting. Absolutely.
It is very tempting.
Yeah, and you know, all those basic life skills that you know you're sort of not having to do because someone else is running around after you.
So are you saying it's every mother's problem then?
No,
it's
not
their
at
fault.
all.
Mummies, there you go again. Mum, you know it's always your fault. So
No,
who's to blame?
Well, I'd say at the end of the day, the guy's got to start taking on board their own management, whether it be the laundry or their finances, or getting out of home and starting to flat and find their own social networks. They've got to do that on their own. And
to find a decent relationship. Madeline emailed us. Good morning, Madeline. There's nothing more unattractive than a man in his 30s still living at home. It's a deal breaker for me. Men who are independent are far more appealing. So let's get to the point. What sort of impact on relationships does it have?
Well, I think for the woman that's trying to go out with the mummy's boy, they continually find that they come second, you know, to the mother. And also on top of that, there can be issues around the fact that if they want to move it forward, you know, some of these guys are living at home, and so, you know, issues around sex or even coming home late or, you know, being able to go away on holiday, all that sort of stuff is thrown into the air.
Come home, crank up the stereo.
It just becomes really awkward because they haven't separated from mum.
So Madeline says it's a deal breaker. How do men all of a sudden, when they realise it's a deal breaker, mum home cooking, washing, don't have to do anything and be lazy, or girlfriend? Oh, I can get another one of those, I think.
Well,
so guys have got to think about it in those terms.
I would say to the guy, look, you know, if you're really seriously looking for a relationship, then you've got to be separate and an individual from your mother.
I was also fascinated. An elite boys' school in Sydney is considering introducing life skills to the curriculum, so they'd learn how to cook, to clean, recycle waste, fix leaky taps. I actually think this is a terrific idea.
So do I. I mean, I wasn't particularly great when I left school, and I had to pick up on things like cooking and doing the ironing and that sort of stuff. So getting that, you know, at school, I think is a good thing, and it just encourages people to be more independent.
So what are the signs? There are probably a lot of girls out there who are in a relationship. They're trying to figure, is he really a mummy's boy? What are the signs?
Well, basically, they won't be able to say no to mum. They will run errands for her all the time. They'll basically be available for them. They'll organise their holidays around them so that it can suit. They might rely on mum for money. And, of course, that killer, which is still living at home.
I tell you, I think there's a few out there. But are mothers encouraging this too much? If a mother sees some of those traits on the screen and said, oops, that could be me, what should she do?
Well, I think the first point is that you make that they do need to put their hand up and say, well, you know, what's my role in this? How do I encourage him to hang on too much? And then try and essentially put up some barriers there. So getting him to look after his finances, or not going to him to fix the car or to run an errand or whatever, and try and rely on other people outside of the son.
Another email here from Justin. Good morning, Justin. I'm 27. I've just moved back home. Now, this is again another separate but familiar tale. Home with my mother after 5 years away. She's on her own now, and she could do with having me around. She gave me and my sisters many good years of life, so why not give her something back? Reasonable?
Yeah, look, that is reasonable. I just think
if he's writing to us in 15 years' time, do you think there's going to be a problem?
That's the issue, you know, just how far does it go? You know, I think it's important to develop relationships with your family members, but also have good boundaries.
Okay, what does a girl do if she's worried about, well, she can't seem to cut those ties without looking like a selfish, manipulative girlfriend or fiancé?
Well, a couple of key tips, I'd say. The first is that you've got to sit the guy down and say, look, these are the problem behaviours here, and these are how they're making me feel. Rather than just saying, don't do them, because he's likely to keep doing them. Say, look, I'm feeling second here in the relationship, or I'm feeling small or neglected, unimportant. So get your feelings out to him. Then the second thing is that he's got to make a commitment to put you first. You know, because if he's going to say, look, mum and me, we're together, nothing's going to change there, then essentially this isn't going to change at all. The third thing that you need to do is once you've got him on board, you then need to visit the mum as a team.
Don't alienate her.
Yeah, that's right. And just basically, you're putting up a front saying, you know what, now we're sitting in front of you as a team, we'd like to talk about how to rearrange the relationship.
Oh, gee, I'd like to see that meeting.
Yeah, and then you get into different...
If you've had one of those meetings, you just email us and let us know how it went. morningtalk@9.com.au. If you've got any views on this and perhaps questions for John, do give us a call or an email there. John, as always, thank you very much.
Pleasure.